Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 75 of Podcast Period, the internet's stupidest podcast.
We made it!
My name is Ben. That's right. We made it. My name is Ben, and with me today, as always, is my lovable, adorable co-host, David.
Who interrupts you whenever possible. Hi, guys!
That's right. Oh, today we have, besides, well, most of the news, we have probably the biggest news day or news story we've had in a while.
Oh, goodness.
If not almost ever.
Yes.
So I'm excited to talk about it. We're going to talk about Boba Fett, the next couple episodes that came out, 3 and 4, if I'm remembering correctly. Mm-hmm. And then we've got some trailers that we're going to watch and react to, so stick around for that. Anyway, first things first. We're not going to make you wait. That's right. We're talking about it. David, go ahead.
So big, in fact, that the person who found it is getting to go first. How big is that? Not as big as the story, I promise you. So, oh my goodness. We've kind of talked about the horrible fate that Activision was facing. Tanking stock, banned from how many things? It was a lot.
A lot of things, yeah.
Well, I guess if you're in that much trouble, you can just call Microsoft, and they got that money to bail you out. Microsoft in a 68.7. Really? 68.7? I guess we can't do any...
Billion.
Can't do any more jokes. All cash, too. All cash settlement, hopefully. We'll see if it gets blocked. To buy Activision, Blizzard, and, King, because they're in there, too. It's so big, but it's also, dangerous at the same time.
Yes. Okay. I am excited about this in the same way that I was excited about Disney buying Fox, although that's more because, we're having more of the Marvel properties get back together under the same roof. But I don't know. I've never really been a huge fan of any Activision products. I never really got big into Call of Duty. You and I tried when, what was it, Black Ops 4 or whatever came out. We tried that Battle Royale that dropped with that, and that was okay. But, beyond that, I haven't really found anything Activision-wise to, fall in love with. So I'm hoping maybe the next Call of Duty will be, a masterpiece, or maybe they'll make something that'll blow something out of the water because of this acquisition. But we run into the same problem where we're having one company buy up, everything. Mm-hmm. What do you know off the top of your head, or can you look up how many studios Xbox had before buying this?
If you include them now, they say they have 32, so I'm pretty sure it's 31.
Well, it's Activision, Blizzard, King, and then I assume all of these smaller ones under them. So
I don't know.
It's probably closer to 2025, somewhere around there. But even still, that is a ton of studios under one company. And I don't think Sony has anywhere near that amount of studios under their belt.
Okay, so Xbox, before the Activision takeover, that will hopefully be completed by 2023, depending on regulatory stuff. 343 Industries, Alpha Dog, Arcane, Bethesda, The Coalition, Double Fire, never heard of them.
Double Fine,
yes, Double Fine, thank you. Compulsion Games, The Initiative, ID Software, I guess In Exile Software, or in Entertainment, I should say. Machine Games, Mojang, which is a big one. Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, which is Forza. Rare, Roundhouse Studios, Tango Gameworks, Turn 10, which is also Forza. Undead Labs, World's Edge, Xbox Game Studios, which is Flight Sim and stuff like that, and ZeniMax Online, which is Elder Scrolls. Those are the big ones.
That's 21 that you just listed right there. Apparently, PlayStation, between 3 continents, has 18. they're not all really, really big names, though. Like Insomniac, Naughty Dog, Blue Point, Sony Santa Monica, Sucker Punch, maybe Sony San Diego. Those are kind of big, but everything else is pretty small names as far as I'm aware. id Software, Rare, ZeniMax, Machine Games, the Coalition, who does Gears now.
Yep.
343 obviously does Halo. There's some pretty big names under their belt already.
Yeah.
And now they're adding all of Activision. Blizzard, who was World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
Activision is Call of Duty.
Yep.
And God knows how many other shooters and stuff under their belt. King with Candy Crush, and Lord only knows how many other branches of phone games under their belt. It's ridiculous.
It's huge. It's dangerous, though, having all of this slowly being morphed into who arguably has made some of the dumbest moves. They had some good releases in the last year or so. They're like the one company that hasn't fallen flat on their face as far as game releases. Amazon failed hard with, I forget what the title of that game is.
New
World. Failed hard. Killed graphics cards with that game, no joke. Like, that game was dangerous. Yep. Literally dangerous. They're like the big one that hasn't fallen flat on their face. Everybody hated the GTA trilogy definitive edition launch, so that put Rockstar in hot water. Not a lot of people were happy with the Cyberpunk launch. Arguably last year, couldn't consider it the year before, whatever. So that put, oh god, what's her name?
I know the name. It's
Red
on the tip
something.
of my tongue, but I can't. CD Projekt Red.
Yes, CD Projekt Red. Thank you. That put them in hot water. Sony hasn't really had anything come out. Like, they got delayed a lot, I think. A lot of their like new releases got delayed for it.
Well, they had a couple good releases right as the PS5 launched, but after that we haven't really seen anything from them.
No. So like they're the one company this year that did good. They had Halo, which arguably was successful, and I'd say it'd be more successful if they hadn't delayed some parts versus the other parts, but it's coming, supposedly. Give us our freaking co-op, please. And, Horizon 5 did a really good job.
Yep.
But then there's so many things that have fallen flat on their face, or they haven't fallen flat on their face, but multiplayer is broken beyond repair because of Microsoft servers. And we've had a lot of issues with Microsoft servers in the past, and we've had issues with their gaming platforms in the past. Gears 3 or 4 was a horrendous experience for me and Ben because it took me 3 whole downloads to get it right.
Oh yeah.
Because of
that was the
Microsoft
Store's fault. That was awful.
It's not the game's fault, but when it's tied into their servers, which can crash at any a sneeze seems to affect them at times, or they send out something that can't compute 2022 and
right. And then when Gears 5 came out, it wasn't like unplayable, but it was very buggy when we played through it.
It was very buggy. Very buggy.
You and I both got stuck in the ground more than once just trying to walk through that game.
Exactly. So, I mean, they've had some success, but they've also had some issues. But I'm concerned about everything being consolidated into one, and those issues just expanding, or, quality going downhill.
Right.
Or both. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think Activision needs to be obliterated in its current form as far as management is concerned.
Oh, definitely as far as management is concerned. I mean, even beyond the whole sexual abuse scandal and everything.
Bobby.
The way that they've been handling their game releases and everything here lately, it's just, I mean, we have a Call of Duty. Granted, it's not the same studio doing it every year anymore, which helps. But, I mean, even having 2 years to work on your next big game release, it's supposed to blow the last sequel out of the water. You're kind of in iffy territory. It's not as bad as, like, say FIFA or NBA 2K or whatever, where they're basically just releasing the same game every year with a
new roster,
little bit of a better coat of paint. But
exactly.
I feel like they would get a lot more mileage out of the Call of Duty name if they would just slow it down. Give it like 3-4 years in between releases. You support the current release in the meantime with maps and modes and fixes. People will be happy with that. If you give them a good game and you keep it good, nobody's really going to complain.
Yeah.
And then when you drop the next major release, hopefully you have a good single player for those who want to play single player. Hopefully you have good multiplayer for those that want to do that, and for those that like both. You got the full package. I'm with you. I'm hoping that whenever, if this goes through, because it's still kind of iffy whether or not it's going to be blocked, but that the current management is Activision is thrown out, that somebody with some common sense is installed, and that there's a little bit more oversight into what they're doing. So they're not only do we not have to worry about what's happening behind the scenes with the employee, but we can also rest assured that the properties that everyone likes under the Activision umbrella are going to be taken care of.
Yep.
All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Let's go.
All right. So, on the same page of the Microsoft Activision acquisition, poor Sony. Apparently, the day that the Activision Microsoft deal was announced, Sony Group Corporation shares fell 13% in Tokyo on Wednesday, their biggest drop since October 2008. 13% might not seem like a big deal, but apparently that wiped $20 billion off of their market value in a single 24-hour period. The blockbuster acquisition escalates Microsoft's spending spree to secure intellectual property assets for its Xbox Game Pass service, wiping $20 billion off of Sony's valuation in a day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't really know. I don't really know if there's anything more to be said. Me and David were joking when the news came to light, when it came out that Microsoft was making a deal with Activision. We were like, man, Sony better hope that they don't do anything really, really bad to screw up anytime soon, because otherwise, it's going to be a Microsoft-Sony merger.
Yep.
We're going to get the what did I call it? Like the Playbox X or something like that. Oh my god.
Oh goodness. Okay, so I sent him the link for the article about the Microsoft takeover, and a few explicitives were said, and he goes, "That was unexpected." And I'm go, maybe they can clean house, referring to Bobby, because that whole thing was just a mess.
Yeah,
and poor Ben is just still flabbergasted about this whole thing. A few more explicitives, and he's talking about buying out Activision, and made a joke about 10-year-old versions of COD being $60. Maybe they won't be like that anymore. I was like, yeah, LL, true. This is totally going into the podcast this week, 100%. And then he sends me the article about Microsoft tearing down $20 billion off of Sony, and I'm like, I'm going to send a Thanos snap for this or something. So I sent the glove scene where he goes, fine, I'll do it myself. And I'm like, Microsoft gearing up to take them down next. All the while responding to all the petty comments on Facebook about people being mad about Microsoft going hard about winning this gaming console war. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe they are, but you know what? Put your money where your mouth is, or shut up. And Microsoft is putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they could lose hard if they don't do this right. So, there's no assurance that they're going to be in safe spot. But Sony can't screw up either. because
No.
they're one wrong move being away from the Playbox X, which
That's
was
right.
hilarious, Ben. I give you all the credit for that.
Oh my gosh. Man, I am just I'm still amazed at this. It's so crazy.
I can't
I
believe that.
about the gaming console war thing. I don't understand that anymore. Like I could get it when everybody was in like middle school or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it was still a really big thing to be. Oh, I have an Xbox. Oh, but I have a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Listen, we're all like 10 years past that. Okay.
Yeah.
Get an Xbox if you want an Xbox. Get a PS5 if you want a PS5. Get both if you want both. Get a PC if you want a PC. All right? Just shut up. Nobody cares.
We don't need that.
I get that my Xbox doesn't have Spider-Man on it. Okay? I'm not going to bash you for having Spider-Man. Spider-Man looks like a great game. I would love to have a PS5 to play Spider-Man. I'm not going to rail against PlayStation just because I'm a little bit more of a fan of what Microsoft is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Video games are video games. There's good ones, there's bad ones, there's good and bad ones on both sides.
So you get what you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And if they both have it,
that is right.
Then go with the one that happens to be a better deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple transaction. It means nothing in the long term to brand loyalty. They do not care about you. They want to make money. So you should not care about them and defend them like they're your fam or something. Like, you dissing my homie here. You better shut your mouth about, oh, Xbox is this or PlayStation is that. Unless you can come up with a fair argument about, well, this is getting a little bit more uneven about fair arguments considering exclusives and content or hardware. The hardware is the same on both of them now, with the exception of a little bit of customization done by one or the other. It's the same dang generation of hardware. They're both doing about the same. Do you like one controller better? Fine. Does it have the game you like? Fine. Buy it. Shut up. End of story.
Yeah, like you said, go with what makes the most sense to you. Like David and I obviously just sat here, I don't know, like 20, 25 minutes, basically scrutinizing this deal between Microsoft and Activision, right? So we're clearly not really taking sides. However, if you asked us, either of us would say, if you have the money, you have the $10 a month, and you have a decent PC, go do the Game Pass right now.
You do Game Pass.
There is literally no reason not to. You get all the first-party games, day and date, and they're dropping stuff on it all the time. It is the best deal in video games right now, which is why the Activision deal is such a big deal. Because they're gonna basically just gonna push more stuff that wasn't on there before on there now.
And it costs what? 2 games a year. And we get way more than 2 games a year. And if you only like 2 games out of the year, guess what? It was an even wash. Surely somebody, especially if you can get it for like a family, like multiple people have multiple different tastes in games, somebody's gonna like it all the time. Like there's something for everybody. So go for it. It makes the most sense. Great. If I was to get a console, it would not be the Xbox. Why? No. I have a PC. It's the only reason I don't like PlayStation. The only reason why I don't is I don't like their controllers. If I really wanted to play something that PlayStation had, I'd put up with it. The only reason why I don't right now is because they're too dang expensive and you can't find them. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah. If in case you weren't clear, we're saying don't buy the scalped consoles off of eBay because they're not worth $1,000.
No.
They're not.
They're not. It can wait.
Okay, anyway, let's move on.
Okay. I'd never realized that this was an issue. As many times as we praise Apple for good security updates. So I guess they did an unprecedented move and they allowed iOS 14 to stay supported with additional security updates longer while they worked out some bugs on iOS 15. But somebody read in between the lines somewhere that they were going to do this forever. And now they're kind of in hot water because Apple says they never intended for it to happen forever. Like, I don't understand whoever thought that that was going to be the thing. But, yeah. You're not going to get iOS 14 forever, guys. You're going to be forced to upgrade to 15.
Okay, so in the picture in the article here, this is of Apple's iOS 15 features page. Mm-hmm. It says software updates. iOS may now offer a choice between 2 software update versions in the Settings app. You can update to the latest version of iOS 15 as soon as it's released for the latest features and most complete set of security updates, or continue on iOS 14 and still get important security updates. I am with you in that obviously you shouldn't expect this to be like a definite thing. You're not going to be on iOS 18 and still getting security updates for iOS 14. There's just that's a stupid thing to expect. No. However, the page also does not mention a timeline. Like, it doesn't say
sunset date
or continue on iOS 14 and still get important security updates until iOS 15 is ready for general public use, blah blah blah, something like that, you know. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of see where it's coming from, but at the same time, what would Apple be getting out of letting you stay on iOS 14 realistically?
I just thought it was a funny thing to talk about and a change of pace because we've always praised them for security and software updates, and I guess there's a dark side to them as well. So I guess it doesn't matter who you use. There's always a chance that it might not go the way you want it to. I don't see a problem with it, though. I mean, if you don't want to update, well, I don't know. I guess they force you to, don't they? Like, at some point, it kind of forces it on an iPhone, doesn't it?
I believe if you don't tell it to update, it won't just update by itself. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Because I don't have an iPhone.
We haven't had one in a long time.
For myself. But I'm pretty sure as long as you don't tell it to install the update, it won't install it. Like, it's something that you have to actively tell it to do. But like I said, I could be wrong. It could be that it just, you know, once your phone is idle for a little while and it automatically downloads it just automatically installs it for you too. And like I said, does it really behoove Apple to keep you on iOS 14 if iOS 15 is available? Makes your phone just that little bit much slower.
That and
makes you want to buy a new iPhone, doesn't it?
Oh.
Your app is taking 0.014 seconds longer to open up. What are you gonna do? Gotta buy that iPhone 13 now.
Buy a new one. You know, honestly, I say it's a non-issue, but maybe it is an issue to some people. Maybe they didn't like 15. I don't honestly know. I didn't think there was any difference.
Yeah,
that didn't look like there's been a difference in a while.
The last few updates, it seems like it's exactly the same. See, I think the biggest difference between iOS versions is like iOS 6 and iOS 7 when like the 4 and the 5 was out. Because you had that really old style of icon, and then you had the flat stuff.
Yep.
And then one would run really badly on the 4. And the other would not.
Well, and then you had 12, which ended 5S, 6, and 6 Plus. So now they're working on 7, 8, X, XR, What are we up to now? 11 and 12? What are we up to on iPhone? Are we on the iPhone 12?
No, I think we're on 13.
Are we on 13? We got a lot of versions of iPhones that are on the same thing. At some point, you are going to have to drop those other devices.
Yeah.
At that time, I think you should extend your security updates for the last batch. It depends on where the drop-off, though, is. Because, I mean, we're talking the 7, 8, and the 10, because I don't think there was a 9. If you killed it at the 10, I don't really expect you to support 7 and 8 any longer, as far as software goes, and then add security updates on top. The point being, if it's killing 5, 6-year-old devices, okay, maybe not. But if the cutoff is like 2-year-old devices, I think you need to support it with security updates for a little while longer. Not necessarily feature updates, but at least security updates. This is a security update for an outdated version that has a replacement to it anyway, so why would you not just go to the replacement? You're not losing any support with this. Anything that runs 14 runs 15. So just upgrade and be done with it.
Right. Okay. So, if you didn't think that this was an episode where we weren't going to bash Apple some more, you were entirely wrong, because we have more. We have more bad news.
Oops.
Safari and iOS users, your browsing activity is being leaked in real time.
No! Not Apple!
So this is a bug resulting in a violation of the same origin policy. It's a foundational security mechanism that forbids documents, scripts, or other content loaded from one origin, meaning the protocol, domain name, and port of a given web page or app, from interacting with resources from other origins. Without this policy, malicious sites, say badguy.example.com, could access login credentials for Google or another trusted site when it's open in a different browser window or tab.
Ouch.
So if you have this, maybe not even malicious site, but let's say compromised site, open in one tab, and then you go check your email, or you go, check your bank account information. Guess what? Bam. Login credentials gone right there. Somebody else has it.
That's dangerous.
Say goodbye. Yeah. Say goodbye to your Gmail. Say goodbye to all of the money in your bank account, because it's gone now.
I do this a lot.
Yeah, that's something that you normally
don't
have to worry about.
Like, I think a part of modern bill-paying society, beyond those things that are automatically drafted out, there's a lot of people who would probably go along the same process that I do. Sit down, look at what I've got, and just go from one bill to the next, and just wipe them all out. I mean, there's certain things that I don't set up for auto draft because they're big things that I want to land on, let's say, a payday. And because I'm a bi-weekly person that changes every single month to month, I can't just say, take it out on the 5th and call it done. Because the 5th might land on a Monday before my check, and I don't have it to cover it when I would have had it to cover on Friday. Things like that. So, there's a lot of people that probably don't have everything drafted automatically because they'll do that. And if I just happen to be checking the social media, let's say Facebook, because Facebook has a lot of trouble keeping their stuff secure, well, that's a good way to do it. Just get all my logins for a bunch of stuff.
Woo-hoo.
Wonderful. So am I supposed to close one thing at a time?
That's right, David. Well, I mean, you won't have to worry about it because you don't use Safari or iOS, but if you're one of those people who are real in on the Apple ecosystem, you may want to do that for the time being.
Close your tab one at a time.
Because the bug is still unfixed as far as the article is concerned that we're reading.
Did they not give them a heads up? Or did Apple not look into this? What's the story on that?
Let's see. Apple was notified of the vulnerability in late November, and as of publication time, it still had not been fixed in either Safari or the company's mobile OSs. So, last November.
They had 3 months of notification before publication.
Mm-hmm.
Lord knows how long it's been a thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
So this could go back years, and we wouldn't know.
Thanks. I mean, I would hope not, but you know.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
Speaking of paying bills, Netflix cites more entertainment choices than ever while raising its prices again. The very reason why we dropped Netflix.
We did. We ditched it for a good what?
A while.
9 months. It was a while. Almost a year at this point.
It was a while. And well, we'll get into that.
And then you ask why I have Netflix on my TV.
Okay, so
we'll get into that.
Okay, so on Friday, Netflix confirmed its plan to raise prices for its video streaming services in North America for the 7th time in 11 years. Unlike many previous Netflix price hikes, this year's bump hits all 3 of the subscription options. Why is there 3 subscription options, you might say? Well, there's a basic tier that's capped at 720p. That gives you 1 screen at a time. Which is ridiculous. There's the basic tier for you basic people that don't have more than 2 people watching and or more than a 1080p screen, which is increasingly becoming unlikely given the vast amounts of, might I say, incredibly cheaper and cheaper 4K displays out there. I got one for under $500. It's actually under $300 if I remember correctly. It was not expensive. Very nice. Not the greatest, but not cheap either. Like, it works. $20 a month for that so wonderful 4K subscription, Ben. $20 a month.
That's right.
And why are we paying more for $20 a month when we can pay $15 a month? Dang, this stuff's gotten expensive. Why is there a 4K tier on Netflix still? Everybody else lobs it in. Even Disney lobs it in. As money hungry as they are.
And in the article, you ready? As of press time, the following popular streaming services all cost less per month than Netflix's $15.49 per month standard 1080p tier.
All of them?
Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, and Peacock. Nearly all of those include 4K viewing options by default for no additional fee. Peacock remains the 4K exception on that list. Everybody is not only doing 1080p, but 4K with multiple screens on one subscription fee.
Mm-hmm. And it's less than
maybe there's like an ad-supported tier that's a little bit less money, like HBO does, or like Hulu does, but you still get the 4K. You still get multiple screens for the money that you're paying.
Netflix is the only one that I know that does it like this. And has for a long time. And I don't understand it. Like, at some point, you gotta just increase the price if you want. Make it $17 a month for everybody. And kill that premium tier. It lands in the middle. Between basic and premium. Lands in the middle, $17. Kills the stupid 4K option, which is stupid. You should just include it in the basic. Not the basic, the base, I guess, would be the 720p stupid too. Make that an ad-supported version.
Yeah.
Kill it, make it 1080p ad-supported, and then make the $17 tier no ad 4K enabled version. And stop increasing all the prices. This is exactly why I ditched it to begin with. It's expensive. I could not believe it had gotten up that high. So, I guess now's the time we can spill the beans on how to get Cheap Netflix?
Okay, so it hasn't been put up on the site yet, but I have actually written an article. So I know the cheapest way to do this is this the article that I wrote assumes that you are getting the VPN for the express purpose of doing this one thing and one thing only. So I only researched the price for like the 1 month, because a lot of these VPNs have like multi-year subscriptions where the monthly prices get disgustingly low.
Yep.
If you are into that and you're going to use it for more than one thing, like you want to connect to other countries' Netflix domains. I personally don't do that because U.S. Netflix, at least for what I pay for it now, has plenty to offer. But okay, so first things first, David and I already had it, so we didn't have to worry about this step, but you do need to have a VPN. The one that I saw, at least that was recommended by CNET, the cheapest one per month that I saw was IPVanish for $11 for the month. So you buy the monthly subscription, you install it. I would make sure, if you already have a Netflix subscription, make sure that you can actually connect to Netflix through the VPN, because I wasn't able to test that. But it should be fine. As far as I know, all of these work for getting around region locks on Netflix. So you do that, and then you go to a site called mtcgame.com. You have to search for a Netflix gift card from Turkey. Right now, they're offering one for 75 Turkish lira, which is approximately $6.54, and another one for 100 Turkish lira, which is $8.78. So if you buy, if you buy the IPVanish subscription plus the gift card, which you do need to start up your subscription in a different country, you are in for a total of $20, which is what you're paying for Netflix right now.
1 month of Netflix.
So, what's the point of this, you might ask? A Turkish Netflix subscription is the cheapest that you can get right now. For the premium subscription, you are paying $4. That's right. Well, roughly. But right around $4. You are literally saving 80% on your Netflix subscription just by doing this. Yes, it costs a little bit of money to get set up. It does take a little bit of time, but it is 100% worth it. Anyway, so you're probably going to want to buy the 100 Turkish lira gift card. After you do that, you get yourself the code. You turn your VPN on to the Turkish Netflix. You make sure that you're signed out of your other Netflix account if you already have one, because you're going to need to start a new one. That's the only unfortunate thing about this, is I don't think you can stop your Netflix subscription in one country and start it up in another. So, I mean, if that's, a real big turnoff for you, then, I mean, I guess, sorry, I don't really have an answer for you. But David and I were off of Netflix for like 6 months or 9 months, so it wasn't really that big of a deal for us to start it back up.
No, I was. Am I upset that I don't have all of that search history? Maybe. Honestly, half the stuff that was on there that I did care about is no longer on there. So, okay, so I lose the algorithm. Fine. It'll quickly learn.
You'll get it back after you start watching stuff again.
Exactly. So it's like it's really no big deal, especially when you save buku amounts of dollar on it.
Right, yeah. So, you connect to Turkish Netflix, you sign out of your old Netflix account, you do have to start a new one. So if you don't have another email account, just go to Gmail and make one for Netflix. And then when it gets to the payment options, you put in the gift card code that you get from MTC Game. The nice thing about this is that while you can't sign up for Turkish Netflix using your credit card right away, because it's like a region locked thing, after the gift card runs out, at least according to the tutorial that I watched, after the gift card runs out, Netflix will prompt you to enter in a credit card. And at that point, you can put in any credit card. So it doesn't care if you're in the U.S. You can put in a U.S. credit card and it'll take it.
which is going to be the one thing that's going to kill anybody if that does not work. We don't know yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet. If it doesn't work,
and we still have a couple months before we get to that point. So if it gets to the point where it doesn't work, we will let you know. But right now, I mean, it's 2 months of premium Netflix for $8. So
it's not costing you anything.
So anyway, if you are looking to save some money on some subscriptions and you don't want to get rid of Netflix, this is the best option for you.
Yes.
Right now.
And yes, and it sounds like Turkish Netflix, but don't worry, it signs into the region that you are in. So once you've gotten past this, and you turned off the VPN,
it's basically like a reverse VPN. So you know how, like we said, you have to turn on the VPN to connect to Turkish Netflix. Once you turn it off, it knows you're in the U.S., so it's going to connect you to U.S. Netflix.
Turkish pricing.
Correct.
It's amazing. I love it.
Anyway, if I remember, which I probably won't, I'll link the tutorial that David and I used for it in the description. If I don't, then just search for how to get cheap Netflix 2022 or something like that, and it'll probably bring you to the same tutorial that I use. So, yeah. Anyway, woohoo! We've got cheap Netflix now. That's basically what it comes down to. All right, so our last article of the day actually involves a company that we haven't talked about in a long time because we haven't played the game in a long time. I think the last time we talked about it was when we did the discussion topic way back when about battle royales. Basically, PUBG Incorporated, it's, I guess, PUBG's Korean publisher, Krafton, has fired a lawsuit against a couple of PUBG, Free Fire and Free Fire Max, that extensively copy numerous aspects of PUBG, both individually and in combination. Obviously, they're basing it on the look and feel, and then there's a couple of gameplay similarities that they're basing it off of. The maps they're very similar. I mean, obviously, it's not the same map, but I mean, damn if it doesn't look close. And then I think the most damning thing in this article is the frying pan.
Oh, the frying pan, 100%.
Because you know that originally the frying pan wasn't meant to be, it wasn't supposed to be like indestructible, or it wasn't supposed to like protect you from bullets. It was just a bug that they kept in that does that. So now somebody's gone in, not only programmed a frying pan into their battle royale, but they've also let it be used as a melee weapon. And on top of that, when you're not holding it, it protects your precious little tush like it does in PUBG. Oh, gotta love it. I just gotta love it. That's all I can say.
Is this infringement or not? Looking at it,
I mean, just having a cursory look at it, I would say yes. I mean,
I agree. Do you care?
Do I care?
Do you care?
No. I haven't. I mean, we haven't played PUBG
at this point. Do you really care?
Forever. No.
This is something they brought onto themselves, as far as I'm concerned. When people come up with the same look, same mechanics, and that game's successful, and while yours is struggling, it tells you you've done something wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what happened with the game, and which is why we don't play it anymore. But yeah, we still play Battle Royale. Just a different one.
Well, a Battle Royale.
A Battle Royale.
The only one that we found that's actually semi-likable.
Yeah, it's a very difficult genre. It got infiltrated with too many bad things, bad ideas, and rampant cheating.
And then the one that we did like just went way down in quality. Did too many things that we didn't like. Unfortunately. Sad.
Oh well. But as far as copyright goes, they should get what's coming to them because yes, I consider that copyright. So good luck to you, Korean. What is it, Crafton? Whoever it is, Crafton. Good luck to you and all your endeavors, and may you win $2 billion of whoever his name is. Garnier. It's a Singapore publisher. They're the ones that did this, and that's what they made last year. $2 billion in revenue. So if you want it, go for it.
That's right.
On to the next.
Hello, my name's Tony, and I'm the host of God Chat with God and Tony. On this podcast, I chat to God, the creator of the universe. Each episode, God and I discuss important matters. In God Broth, God shares some of his cooking tips. We also find out what's in God's will when he finally dies, in God's will. You also get a chance to ask the Lord a question in AGA, or ask God anything. If I'm being honest, it's not very good, but it may make you smile.
Oh, it's not that bad, Tony.
Shut up, God, I'm talking now. It's my podcast.
All right, Tony, don't get your knickers in a twist.
Anyway, if you're in the market for an awful podcast with me talking to God for 20 minutes each episode, then Google God Chat with God and Tony. Thanks then.
Okay, so now we get to talk about Boba Fett.
Oh, goody.
Chapter 3, The Straits of Mos Espa. Fett is asked by watermonger Lortha Peel to punish a gang of cyborgs who are stealing his water in Mos Espa. Peel claims that the citizens of Tatooine do not respect Fett yet. Upon seeing the gang has no work, Fett employs the cyborgs as enforcers and demands that Peel reduces prices. In his back-to-tank, Fett recalls seeking the toll from the Pikes on behalf of the Tusken tribe, only to find the tribe destroyed by the Nikto gang upon his return. His memories are interrupted when Fett is attacked by Kurstan. Fett, Shan, the guards, and the cyborgs fight off and capture the Wookiee. The twins soon apologize for sending Kurstan, claiming that Shaiz has promised Jabba's territory to another syndicate. The twins vow to leave Tatooine and gift a Rancor to Fett. After releasing Kurstan and resolving to train the Rancor, Fett goes to Mos Espa with Shan and the cyborgs to question Shaiz. They find the mayor absent, but chase down his major domo, who reveals that Shaiz is working with the Pikes. Later, the Pikes begin arriving in Mos Espa, and Fett decides to prepare for war. Okay, so what did you think about this episode?
I was a little heartbroken about the Tuskens, I'll be honest. That was a little gut-wrenching. It's like, ooh, is he responsible for this? Is this his fault? Or is this going to happen no matter what? Because I somewhat kind of felt like it was his fault, and that he felt that too. And that there was a little bit of a guilt resting on his chest.
I feel like he may have accelerated it, but I mean, the Nikto gang were already... No, they weren't the ones running the train, were they?
No.
They were just the ones that he stole the bikes from. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. That's hard to say.
We'll have to wait and see, though, because I question whether or not they actually were involved.
Oh, the Nikto?
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to say. I mean,
like, I'm wondering if that was a plant. Like, the symbol is what gave it away, the graffiti. But I don't. We'll have to wait and see. I'm suspicious of that. I'm thinking it's a plant of some type.
Yeah, it could be a Pike thing instead of the Niktos. Because I mean, realistically, all he did was steal some speeder bikes from them. But I mean, who knows? That could be enough to destroy a whole Tusken Raider clan. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was pretty heart-wrenching to see everything just gone by the time he came back. It was like, oh man, that sucks.
Really? That's how we're gonna go.
I was very excited at the end of this episode to get the Rancor. That was cool. I liked that they kind of they like hinted at it earlier in the earlier episodes. That the major, yeah, he's in the pit. Oh, look, there's the Rancor. Oh, no Rancor. And then we get a Rancor. That's dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
So
It's hard to say yet, but I feel like that's going to somehow become like a critical thing at some point. I'm not sure.
I mean, he did say he wants to learn how to ride it, so I'm hoping that's going to be like a big final battle thing where right at the end he comes out on his Rancor and just wrecks house. That would be exciting.
I'd be okay with that. Anyways, I think you were ready for my thoughts about the episode as a whole.
Yeah.
What's our rating? Or do we want thoughts and then rating?
Well, go ahead and do your thoughts first.
It was a really good episode. I liked it. I was a little upset about the Tuskens, but life goes on.
Yeah.
The whole Wookiee situation was like, oh, we got to see Chewie in a lot of action, but he reminded us why you don't mess with a Wookiee. Because it will not end well for anybody.
Especially in the next episode. If you remember what I'm talking about.
Oh, goodness gracious. Dangerous Wookiee. Don't mess. Mm-hmm. You may come out a little less potty weight. But anyways, I question what was set up. Was it the Nikto gang that got the Tuskens, or is that somebody else? Maybe the Pikes. Okay, the twins' claims, I guess, would be the other thing to question then. About the mayor. But then he's nowhere to be found, and yet we see the Pikes arriving in Mos Espa. So it's like, somebody's playing, like, double agent here, and we just can't figure out who it is just yet.
Yep.
It's a good episode, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really have anything bad to say about this one. I'm, like I said, super excited about the Rancor. I hope that works into something later on. I'm just interested to see where this is all going. Before we keep going, I want to touch on the fact that at least from what I've seen, that people think this series is like ruining the mystique of Boba Fett, or like ruining the badassery of Boba Fett. But like,
no, he's not a bounty hunter anymore. But at what point has he not laid down the law when he needs to?
Exactly. I can see where they're coming from, I guess, because I mean, he's still healing from everything. This basically this whole time, which is why he's had to go back into the bacta tank so many times.
Yes.
So you can't really expect him to be fighting at full force. But either way, the way the man died in the 6th movie, it's got to be the dumbest way for somebody to go out. I mean, you've got this mysterious, badass bounty hunter, Boba Fett, and he gets taken out by a blind dude with a stick. Like, really?
Does that really speak to the badassery of the character? I don't see a problem with it at all.
No, I don't either. But you can't pick one thing to get mad at and then just ignore this whole other thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's not fighting at full capacity. Yes, he has to go into this bacta tank, which is very clearly explained in this next episode that we're about to get to. But we've already seen him get wrecked on screen by something stupid. So, like, what difference does it make? Just enjoy the show. It's a fun show. It's a good show. And it's not ruining Boba Fett. Not at all.
What was there to ruin? There was nothing set for this character yet. He was a bounty hunter that fell off a freaking, I don't know, ship. And he falls into the mouth of this giant creature. End of story. Well, end of part 1 of story. If anything, him coming out of it just makes him more of a... Okay, he's crippled. You would be too if you were swimming in some giant creature's digested juices. Yeah, I promise you would not come out in any better shape. Mm-mm. You'd be a little hurt too. And then he got beaten down by how many things after he gets out of there? He's dehydrated. His skin looks like he's been burned by acid. Probably was. beaten across the head, God knows how many times. This man's suffering from a concussion, and you're going to give him crap because he's not Mr. B.A. because he's got to go into the back to tank a couple of times. You got slammed around by a freaking Wookiee, for God's sakes. What would you expect?
It's a Star Wars fanboys. Ridiculous.
Shut up.
Anyway,
just enjoy the show.
What would you give this out of 5 Rancors?
I was going to say, if you don't say Rancor, I will kill you. 4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
I'm with you on that.
Darn good episode. All of them have been darn good episodes so far.
They really have been. Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm. In the back to tank, Fett remembers trying to reclaim his ship, Slave One, from Jabba's palace, which was protected by too many guards. When he discovered Shand dying from a gut wound, Fett took her to a Mos Eisley mod parlor where her life was saved with cybernetics. In return, Fett requested Shand's help to break into the palace, now ruled by Bib Fortuna. After fighting the guards and retrieving Slave One, Shand decides to stay with Fett. They killed the biker gang that Fett believed to have massacred his Tusken tribe. Before flying into the Sarlacc pit to retrieve his armor. Shand killed the attacking Sarlacc with a seismic charge, though Fett did not find his armor inside. In the present, Fett witnesses Kirstan fighting Transoceans in the Sanctuary and hires him. At a banquet, he urges Doc Strassi, Garfalaquox, and Mos Espa's other crime bosses to unite against the Pike Syndicate, but they refuse. With the Rancor's presence, Fett convinces them to remain neutral while he fights the Syndicate alone. Shand suggests that they hire reinforcements for the imminent war. Okay, so 2 things. I really liked the fight with the Sarlacc. That was really cool.
I was not expecting that.
No, Kind of surprised that he's going back in there, because I thought he knew that his armor got taken off of him by Jawas, but I guess getting beat on the head kind of made him forget that. Which makes sense. So he goes back to the Sarlacc, expecting to find his armor in there, and instead almost gets eaten again. Luckily, Shand was there, and she sets off one of those seismic charges that we see. What is it? Is it in... I think it's in 5. When he's getting chased, or he's chasing somebody. I don't remember. I know we've seen it before, because I remember him shooting out those. And then the Kirstan fighting the Transoceans in the Sanctuary. We've always heard that when they're angry, Wookiees will rip off people's arms. This is the first time I think we've actually seen it like on screen, legit.
As much of a BA as Chewie is,
right?
For the most part, he's been relatively handled by...
That's fair.
Solo for the majority of those movies, and then it continues in the 3rd trilogy.
Yep.
I mean, has he had the opportunity? Maybe. I don't really recall. But it was darn funny to see it happen this time. Even if it is a different Wookiee that's doing it.
Yeah.
Ugh. Dangerous.
So this one just leads into more foreshadowing. I'm excited to see where the series keeps going, because we've only got 3 more episodes left, and then we're all done.
Yeah.
So.
Did you notice that her midsection was mechanical before this episode? Because I thought it was like decoration pieces on a belt on her costume in the first 3 episodes. I had no idea that her midriff section was actually exposed mechanical parts.
No, I think I remember that. I don't remember if they mentioned it in The Mandalorian or not. She was obviously there. I don't know.
And now that I've seen it, I'll never unsee it. But it's like, I thought that was a belt. Like an ammunition belt or something.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, I wonder if Ben noticed this.
If I didn't notice it then, I definitely notice it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you give this episode out of 5 Slave Ones?
4.75.
Really?
This is I think this is my favorite episode.
I think I'll have to stick with a 4.5 on this one. This one didn't like blow me out of the water, but it kept it going. Like I said, I'm excited to see where we end up with this series. Maybe this will be one of the ones that goes up as the series goes on. But right now there wasn't a super ton that happened. I mean, they're filling in backstory on him.
I think that's why I like it so much.
So
we're getting a lot of the backstory. We see how they have met. Because there's been so much back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Like, okay, at what point did these two get together? At one point did he get from this point to here? Because there's a whole lot in the middle that we've missed that we assumed is going to get filled in as we kept watching. And slowly but surely, we finally understand how he got back into Jabba's palace. And I'm assuming at some point we'll see the death of Bib Fortuna. Or at least how it happened, not just the aftermath, the immediate aftermath, because that was shown in this episode. But we at least see where the alliances have been created so far and why they're so strong.
Right.
So, I don't know. I kind of liked it a lot for that reason.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from on that. Okay. Let's move on to our final section of the show. If you haven't seen our regular trailer section, normally what we do is we watch the trailer and then we let you know whether the movie featured in that trailer, whether we would go see it in the theater, whether we would wait for a rental, wait for a review, or whether we wouldn't see it at all. I can count the number of times on one hand that we said that we wouldn't go see a movie. So if we say that we wouldn't go see it, you know it's a bad trailer. Don't go watch it. Anyway, first trailer we've got is finally an actual official trailer for the Disney Plus series Moon Knight.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I think I'm losing it.
We'll catch you on. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Stephen. I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Thank you.
Lost the contact lens.
Hope you find it.
Thanks. Hold the phone. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're alive. What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?
I don't know. This is going to be a hard one. I really hope that... I know they're playing up the crazy aspect on him, but I really hope that that's not going to detract from the watchability of the show. Because this trailer was a little all over the place. Not a crazy amount for me, but...
You hit the nail on the head. I'm so afraid that this is going to be unwatchable. That trailer was... You were on the fence. It sounded like I'm going to say no. Like, that was turned up to 11 in a bad way to me.
Right.
There better be a lot more moments of sanity. Clarity somewhere in there. Because that was like, I don't understand what's going on. Of course, I'm coming at this with absolutely no knowledge of the character whatsoever, so I don't know what the shtick is here. But
the shtick is that he's psychotic, if you couldn't.
Clearly. My gut tells me it's going to be good because there's been very, very few things that I haven't liked, even though I didn't know what it was going into it, coming from them. I don't know, Ben. That might be one of them.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There's 6 episodes, so hopefully there's enough time to fill out so that it doesn't seem like back-to-back crazy. We'll just have to wait and see.
I hope
but
so.
I'm right there with you.
That
I hope that it's not like all over the place. Yeah. All right. Now we've got a trailer for The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder.
Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. I'm going to the dance.
Now hold it right there, young lady. Let me see what you got on.
Oscar, haven't you embarrassed her enough?
Oh, no, I'm just getting started.
Our little girl is becoming a young lady.
What in the... I told you, Penny, no dating before you're married.
Mama, make Oscar stop! Why's my grandbaby dressed like Darth Vader?
To keep the boys away like you did during the Crusades.
Thank you, Sugar Mama. Hey, little sister. I'm becoming a woman. Alive, even though we're working.
Penny's gonna wind up living with us forever, like you and Bobby, Mama.
Shut up, boy, before I hurt you.
What do you think you're doing now?
How much of this show did you watch when it was first on the air?
I have no clue. Just because it's been so long, I have forgotten almost all of it. But it was a fair amount. Like I like The Proud Family.
Yeah,
it was a good show.
It was a good show. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see it. It might be something that me and Nicole have to watch together.
Yeah.
When it comes out. It looks funny.
Jessica would want to see this a lot. So
it looks like it's just adultified enough to make it. I mean, it's obviously going to be family friendly.
Yeah.
But it's grown up a little bit with the people that used to watch it.
A little bit.
It seems like.
The only thing that I'm going to say about that I found a little bit annoying, her voice is a little too young sounding to me. It's almost too kiddish. Like, I don't remember... I don't think it's the same person. Because it sounded like Sugar Mama and Oscar could be the same people. I don't know who's reprising the roles and who isn't. But I remember Penny's voice being a little bit more mature than that. And this one, it sounds like it's actually de-aged a little bit, which is kind of terrifying considering she's supposed to be older. It sounds like she's 8 or 9, almost. Like, it's a little too young to me. But other than that, it looked really funny.
Now, it looks like Penny, Oscar, and Sugar Mama are they're all the same actors.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to get a side-by-side clip.
Trudy is the same. I saw Lil Nas X was going to be in there. I wonder what he's going to play.
I don't know. It sounded like she was a little bit younger sounding.
I mean, it could just be an out of practice thing. It was the original run for this was 2001 to 2005.
It could be differences in voice abilities. I mean,
yeah, it's going on 20 years at this point.
Yeah,
17. So who knows? Could be. All right. So our next trailer is for Hatching.
Sounds interesting.
That isn't the most WTF trailer that we have watched in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is. I don't know what to say about that.
If the point was to scare the ever-living daylights out of you, or to possibly become in a condition to where you need to change your underpants, it has succeeded.
It has, yep.
Um.
Okay, so I've got 2 ratings on this. If you and me were together, I have a feeling that when this came out, we would go see it at some point. Now, as for myself, I'm not touching it. Not by myself. And it's not because it looks like it's bad. It actually looks good.
Looks good.
I might like it if I watched it, but I'm not watching it by myself. I'm not. I'm not doing it.
Too much of a coward, just like me. And I will own that.
I'll claim that. Nope, I don't need it. I don't need that in my life. No, thank you. Oh God. Oh. Okay. Woo.
Okay.
All right. Let's watch the last trailer of the night for the Bob's Burgers movie.
Are you hungry for something good? Something juicy.
It's like a Burger King commercial so far.
How you doing? What? Something beefy.
What is going on? Ta-da! Fresh hot burgers, sexy burgers.
Len.
What? It's summer and sex sells, baby.
That's so stupid.
Do you watch? Did you or do you currently watch that show?
I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't seen a whole lot. Okay. What about you?
I've never seen it.
It looks pretty okay. I tried watching the first little bit of it. I couldn't get into it, but I don't know. I might have to give it another try again.
I can't think of too many. I'm sure there's been plenty, but I can't think of too many others besides the Simpsons movie. This looks like this is going to be one of those classic TV shows turned movie that fans of the show are going to love, and everybody else is going to be like, I didn't watch the show, I'm not going to watch the movie. This is pointless, this is stupid. Unfortunately, I am in that camp. It looks good, but if I never could get into the show, I'm probably not going to like the movie. End of story. Right, yeah. Just like The Simpsons.
I'll give this a fair wait for a rental. Because I mean, it looks good. Realistically, I'm probably never gonna see it because I don't watch the show. But it does look good.
Yeah,
and it's not something that I would outright refuse to watch, like Hatching. Woo! Like if I saw that it was on and I didn't really have anything to do, I might throw it on just to see how it is. Hatching.
To go with our rating system, wait for a rental. Am I going to? No.
Yeah.
But it looks good. For what it is, it looks good. I'm sure the people that like the show would like the movie.
Right, yeah.
I just don't care.
Okay, well, that is where we're going to leave this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching / listening, wherever you might be consuming our show, as it were. If you're on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff. If you're listening to us, be sure to leave a rating on whatever podcasting platform you happen to be listening on, especially if you're on Apple. Apparently those help a lot. Yeah, that's all we got for this episode, guys. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Podcast Period. This episode was hosted and produced by Ben, co-hosted and edited by David. You can contact Ben on Twitter at BenPlaysVidges. That's Ben Plays, VIDYAS. And you can contact David on Twitter at Car6by16. If you'd like to chat with us about any of the topics on this episode, you can hit the show up at Podcast Period on Twitter, or shoot us an email at podcastperiodpodcast@gmail.com. That's all for this episode. We'll see you next time.